And we're live. This is the cast of the Close Your Mouth podcast. You already know what we're here for. Yet another episode of the Skype Files. You guys have been showing a whole lot of love and just a whole lot of appreciation for the videos that we're putting out. And, we just want to keep on putting content out for you guys to hold you over through these, troublesome times that we're in right now. Just any more content that we could put out there, we're definitely going to try and get as many episodes up as possible. So I'm just going to introduce both of my co-hosts, though.
Hey, what's going on? It's Paul.
What's up? It's Zach.
And we're here to put in yet another installment. You guys seem to have liked the To Be or Not to Be segment that we dropped last week, so we thought it's about time to give you guys another one of those. And this week's topic that we're covering more so toxic relationships. We've all got that weekend album After Hours. We all been bumping it, and we got that review coming for you guys later. In the week, we're gonna be dropping that for you guys shortly. But we thought, as a good startup to get into that album, we thought it would be good to give you guys, some to be or not to be, and just tying everything up together with a nice little bow. You got the weekend, the king of toxicity, and we got just us talking about toxic relationships, man. Just tying the music into the real world. So yeah, we're gonna essentially just bring it back like we did last time. Gonna have 5 key traits that you can find in a toxic relationship, and the fifth one, we all have those. Those are gonna be our personal, just traits that we have and that we see. So we're all gonna bring one of those, and then after that, we have a whole new segment that we would like to introduce, but we'll save that for later though. So the first trait that we have, we can get into and we could discuss in length that you could find in a toxic relationship would be a lack of trust. And obviously, when it comes to a lack of trust in a relationship, that's always not a good place that you would want to build or start off with in a relationship. And obviously, a whole lot of toxicity is going to come from that. You can't be, honest with your significant other, and how do you guys feel about that?
You want to go, Zach?
So, like, you're talking about lack of trust, right? That was number one.
Yeah, that's the well, it's in no significant order. These are just 4 things that we came together as a group and we decided. So lack of trust would be the first one that we're covering though.
Yeah, I mean, lack of trust is definitely like toxic because like you're not really gonna cuff a girl if you don't trust her, and then if you do trust her first and you date her, and then she kind of out of nowhere kind of gets a little sus, like that's where it becomes toxic.
Yeah, and going off what you say, the lack of trust has to be there in order to start the relationship for me. But if the relationship is there and then over time that trust seems to continue to diminish, whether it be, you're catching your significant other in lies or whether it's not lies, there's a lot of things that, that they're, withholding from you and not telling you. That always is the start of just like an unhealthy relationship. And that's going to just put a whole lot of doubt into your, relationship as a whole. Paul, how you feel about that, bro?
Honestly, I feel like with lack of trust, if you go into a relationship with lack of trust, then there must be like some insecurities on your end. If you don't sort that out, that could like very easily like break the relationship. I also feel like for those who have gone through like traumatic incidents where your significant other has like in the past like have like kind of like betrayed your trust, that can like easily roll over into the next relationship, and you don't want that.
Oh, of course, bro.
Because, you know what I mean? So because one, it isn't like one that like it's not fair to you, and it's not fair to your like significant your new partner that you're with,
Yeah.
and two, also like I think I don't know if I said two already. Did I say two already?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. So
It's
three.
three.
So three, like you obviously like it just makes it worse for you in the end. So you don't want that. You know.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. A lot of people take that, the insecurity and the baggage from their, past relationship. I don't even necessarily call it insecurity, but if someone does you wrong, you're obviously going to carry that and, harbor that within inside of you, and
Mhm.
that's going to be going to your next relationship, and that could, potentially, just diminish the growth that you guys could be having as a whole, or if not diminish the growth, it could just, just end the relationship right there. So trust is very important, man. You gotta definitely be with someone. At least for me, I had to be with someone that I could be. Like I said that last episode, I gotta be like 100% honest with them. I gotta, always just keep it a stack, keep it a bundle with them.
Yeah.
But and even in that, like I want, the person that I'm with to do the same with me. I feel like that's rather important.
Have you ever had any traumatic experiences dealing with trust with an ex?
I wouldn't necessarily say like I've had like trust issues. I've always been rather lax, and like any girl that's ever dated me or that's been like kind of like just uh that's I've been dated or I've been together with, or that's ever been involved with me, knows that I'm not really one of those guys that's like super like insecure. It's like, oh, where are you, like what are you doing, like I'm
Yeah,
not one of those.
exactly. You know.
I'm not one of those guys. I'm not really much of a hounder. If anything, girls tend to get on me for that, because they're like, you're a little too chill about shit, like you're a little, like you don't be on my ass enough. Not ass, that's a wrong thing to say. I get my ass in trouble. But they, girls are more that date me or are together with me or that I'm ever talking to. They're like, yo, you kind of don't seem to, be on point when it comes to like checking up on me and stuff like that. I'm very lax. I'm very chill. Like if anyone has been with me, um, I feel like they can agree to that. But obviously, there's certain parts when that, you're going through turmoil in your relationship, and you gotta get your magnifying glass out a little bit and just be like, yo, like, let's go with that, let's go with this. But like, that's rarely ever happened to me. I've always kept it a buck, and girls that I've been with, I've always kept it a buck with me too.
I feel like mad
Yeah.
white girls are really insecure.
Nah, I would say for me though, like I've been through like weird stuff with like my past relationships where like, well, for one of like for an example, one of them in high school like was like talking to their ex, and like I didn't mind it at the time, and I was like young, so like I allowed it, and then like eventually she like ended up breaking it off to go be with her ex. So it was just kind of like, it was like what?
Damn.
Yeah,
Oh
it was
shit.
kind of messed up, you know. So,
God
but
damn,
like I
she
didn't.
she choke slammed your ass, bro. That's grimy.
Basically, you know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
for my like future relationships, like I just like always like, I always learn from like my past mistakes. Like I never like walk into a new relationship expecting like old stuff. Like I always give like the new person like a fair chance. And I just kind of like lay down certain things. I'm just like, yo, like this happened in the past, like let's try not to make history repeat itself. It's not fair to me, it's not fair to you. And it just, you need to create like a better environment.
Yeah,
So
and that's just human. That's just human nature, bro. Like you said, like you're always gonna like if something happened to me in my past relationship, like no matter what, like I'm gonna bring that experience into my next one, and like I'm not gonna superimpose, my will or anything, and be like, hey, like you can't do this, or like you know what I'm saying.
yeah,
But like at the same time, like you're gonna be a bit vigilant for certain things like that. So I'll wholeheartedly
absolutely.
agree with you. And that girl did you wrong, bro. That's grimy.
Facts.
Girl did you wrong, man.
I wouldn't even
But
come
and
for girl like that.
I,
I would just like be a thing with her, but like not official, so I don't get like hurt.
Nah, I feel you. But I mean, like we were like essentially like we were like together. It wasn't like we were in the talking stage, because then I would have been like I would have seen that and I would have been like, but it was kind of like too late for me. Like we were like already in the relationship, and like she kind of just threw that on me. She was like, oh, by the way, like like I'm still friends with my ex, and I'm just sitting there like, oh, like I wish there was something like you told me before we like kind of like got serious. So at the time I kind of just like rolled with it, and I was young too, so it was just like it was like one of my like first few like early relationships. So I was just like, I was like, okay, you know.
That's
I
that's a
would,
tough that's a tough situation to be in, bro. In general,
Nah,
bro.
very.
That's some red flag shit
I
right
would,
there.
Nah,
Like,
yo, you. Yeah.
any
I would be like, yo, you gotta block him right now, or you're single.
nah,
Oh,
I don't think I'd be like that. I feel like that's like OD insecure. Like I still have, you know what I'm saying? Like I still have exes that like I wouldn't say like we're like homeboys or nothing like that, but like
Mm.
we're like chill, like we're cordial.
no,
But
I don't,
like
I don't
I don't
talk.
know, like if you're not to cut you off, like I don't know, like it depends, bro. Like there's levels to it. Like if she like if not I don't want to say she, if your significant other is like super tapped in with their like, with their ex, it's.
Could be bad news, but I mean,
Yeah, you
if
gotta side eye that a
I
little
don't,
bit,
I
I
don't
you know
hit,
mean,
what I'm saying?
I don't hit on my exes unless like I'm trying to do some shit with them. That's it. Otherwise, I don't talk to my exes.
No, I'm like, yeah, I'm be on some cordial shit, bro. Sometimes, like,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not even
just be
like you're
civil, you
spitting
know, like
game, bro. Like, yeah, just be civil, bro.
some people I've noticed that a lot. Like a lot of like girls like recently that I've spoken to, they would be like, oh, like I'm talking to my ex, and like I feel like it's not like, but when they say they talk to them, like they're not like buddy buddy, like they like like they check in, every once in a while, see how everything's doing, then they like leave it alone. 'Cause I guess like I understand in a way because it's just like they had like such a bond and a chemistry at one point, and it's kind of like sad to like throw away like that person and make them a memory, but like they know better and they respect you as a person to not like disrespect you and whatever and make
That's what I'm saying.
stuff.
Yeah, like, that's some mutual shit, bro. Like,
Yeah.
there's gotta be a mutual, level of respect on both sides. Like for me, like I'm not gonna sit there, like if I'm dating somebody and I know that makes my significant other uncomfortable, I'm gonna be in that situation where I'm just like super buddy buddy. Like I'm not gonna do that. The same way, like if you're doing the same thing, like I'd be like, yo, like that shit makes me feel uncomfortable. Like I don't like that. Like it should be, it should be mutual. These are things that you gotta, you gotta be able to discuss with your significant other though. That's important. You gotta have that good
Yep.
communication skills and just be able to discuss this type of shit, man. This is some tough shit, man. That's
Yeah.
the scenario, bro.
There's another one. So the same girl. This was like a major red flag. Like I should have known like right from here. So I remember she
She was on IG Live.
nah.
It's working for Tory Lanez, bro. I'm joking.
Nah, I don't even think IG Live was out. Nah, I wasn't even out at the time. But
No, I'm fucking with you, bro.
nah. But there was a time where like she kind of like had her cousin like hit me up to see if I would like take the bait, and I'm just like, what? Yeah. So like her cousin was flirting with me and everything, and I'm just like, yo, I was like, what are you doing? Like I like your cousin. She was like, oh, like forget my cousin, you could be with me, this and that, and I'm like, what? And then I remember like after like the conversation ended, like they like FaceTimed me and she was like, oh my god, like you passed the test, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, Paul's like, am I getting punked right now?
Yeah, I was like,
Nah, bro.
I was,
That's
yo, that was a big red flag, but I liked her so much that I was just like, fuck
fuck
it.
it.
Yeah, I was like,
I
fuck
would
it.
be like, I bet. Do I get both of you now? Like, shit.
Nah, bro. That's some cringy shit though, bro. Like, don't shit test me.
Nah,
Like
that,
don't shit test me. Like,
bro, lack of
like
trust.
how I am. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How I am, bro. Like I'm always like that, bro. Like keep it a stack with me, and I'll keep it a stack with you, bro. Like I'm
Yeah,
not gonna send my. That's some
that's
insecure ass shit, bro.
yeah, nah, it is. I was just like, what? I was like, we playing games now? Like, I hate when people do that. That's like one thing I hate is when people test me like in like ways like with stupid stuff like that. It's just like, bro, come on.
That's immature as fuck too. But like you said, you guys were younger, bro. So it is what it is, man. So it's a learning experience.
Bro,
Yeah,
It's a good thing that you went through that too, and that's what I'm saying. People a lot of the times like when they go through stuff like that, they're like, oh, fuck my ex, like this. And sometimes, it's a growing experience, bro. Like
yeah,
we're all young people, like we're dating, we're getting acclimated into this kind of world, and sometimes you gotta be able to interact, not interact. That's not the good word. You got to be able to go through these scenarios, bro, to grow
yeah.
as a person. Same thing goes to you and for your ex, bro. Like you're gonna put each other in scenarios where you grow, and then you take that to your next relationship. And a lot of people don't take that shit as growth, bro. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like a lot of people don't.
it's
recycle.
trial and error.
Yeah,
They don't, they don't fucking, they don't listen, they don't learn from their mistakes or like they don't learn from past events. You got to take everything, and learn from it and then progress and grow, or you're never gonna evolve, man.
You bring,
absolutely.
like, you try to be as positive as possible. You try to avoid all the cons in a relationship.
Yeah,
Kind
I
of.
mean, there's always gonna be cons, like there's
Like,
never gonna be a
That's what
perfect
comes.
relationship.
if you see some shit that's happening in your old relationship that didn't work, like, you either gotta say something, or like, you kind of just know, like, it's over, or you guys are just meant to be friends.
You just
Kind of.
gotta communicate,
Yeah, it's just
just address it.
communication is the key.
Like, I don't doubt it that you guys got that text from one of your exes saying, like, oh, I think it'd be better if we were friends. Instead of just
I think
fully
so.
breaking up with you and not talking to you ever again.
Have I
Yeah,
gotten that?
I
Because
think so. I think I've
you
gotten
I don't
guys,
that.
think
you guys,
I don't think I gotten that.
you guys can, like,
I haven't gotten that.
have
Like,
you,
yo,
but
like,
not
cool.
like
Let's
on
just
a
be friends.
dating level.
Would you say that?
You guys can like fuck with each other heavy, but like not on a dating level.
I feel
Yeah.
like that shit don't mix.
No, it's like
If you
I,
get if,
like if you
It,
say like you like a girl a lot,
yeah.
but like it's I'm not trying to be a dog right now, but it is possible to like two girls at once equally, you know.
I'm trying to see where you're going with this. Yeah.
So,
Okay. Good.
so you're not
I'm
trying to,
trying to
you're
see
not you're
where
not
you're
trying to just
going
date
with this.
one. You're not trying to just date one. You both of them. You ask both of them. In all honesty, be like, you
I
guys
got,
want a poly relationship.
I'm mad
I got.
confused. I am not gonna hold you.
You never been asked for a three-way relationship, you and two other girls.
Oh,
You like an open kind of
like an open
relationship
relationship.
kind of thing.
Kind of open, but like more just locked down to just you and two other girls. That's it. Just
Oh,
you.
it's just like us three in the relationship. I mean,
Yeah.
that.
I ain't never experienced that, man.
I mean, like the conversation like came about, like yeah, like, but it never went into like action. You know, like we never like we never were like, oh, like we never like actually like went forth with it, but it was like a thought.
Yeah. Make sure you have a king size bed if you do that, though.
All right, let's go.
Wow, you hear this,
Yo,
man?
this dude Zach is jokes, bro. Zach is a dog, bro. But
What am I
yeah,
joking?
all
I
right,
can tell. I
yeah,
see the statements.
we skipping. We went on a big on tangent with the lack of trust, but the next one that we have is denial. When there's a constant denial that's taking place in your relationship from either you or from your significant other, you're just unable to just I wouldn't necessarily say come. This would kind of tie into a lack of trust in my book. Is just for an example, if you're wrong and then you seem to never own up, and I don't want to say that. I don't want to use this word because this can apply to any. I don't want to use the word man up, but like you don't own up to just the rights and the wrongs that you
Put up
do
your
in a
shit.
relationship. Yeah, and I think that's necessary in a relationship. Because
If they ask you something, tell them straight up. Don't hide. Don't beat around the bush.
and compromise. At least for me, I'm just speaking from my perspective. Compromise is key in a relationship. If you can't
Yeah,
compromise, you can't come to an agreement with your partner. Then, like, what are you guys even really doing? So denial could be a big issue, especially if you're dealing with someone that's just constantly, just parrying
Yeah,
all the jabs you throw at them. And I'm not gonna lie, man, that used to be my big issue, bro, when I was first out there, in the field, man, as a young soldier, bro. I used to be a very, I used to deny a whole lot of things, bro, just like in general, just with dating and just girls that I was with. A lot of the time, there'd be a
which
whole lot of bad, there'd be a whole lot of bad stuff that I'd be doing, and then like I would never own up to it or just take the time to look internally into myself and say, hey, yo, bro, like you gotta correct yourself, man, and that's important. You gotta correct yourself.
Kevin, give us an example. What'd you deny before in the past?
Deny? I wouldn't. It wouldn't be like denial. Like this is. I could just say this is like. It's sort of reoccurring with me. Just in relationships, like when it comes to like the disagreements and arguments and stuff, and when you're dating someone, they're telling you this is what you're doing, and like you don't even realize that you're doing it, and you're defending yourself rather than just like
trying to
taking the
figure
time to actually listen to the person that's with you, expressing their feelings to you.
Yeah,
Like me, bro, I used to be on some attorney shit, bro. I used to be like, oh no, 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 man, you can't be too I don't want to use the word logical, bro, but like at least for a man that's dealing with a woman, you can't be super. You can't just rely solely on your logic and your instincts because that's not how it works. You got to be able to communicate with someone on an emotional level, and that's important.
Yo,
That's a jump, bro. And honestly, for any young men out here listening to this, like you got to take the time and understand that like shit isn't always based in logic how we seem to think it is. Sometimes it's emotion, man. You got to really be able to listen to what your woman has to say to you and be able to just discuss things and just hear her out for once. And I wasn't about that
yeah,
when I
man.
was younger.
part of the denying, if if like if you like question them or they question you, and you say like, oh, where's the proof? If someone mentions anything about proof, you know that they cheated, type shit, or they're lying. Be like, where's the proof? Think
I
about
mean, personally, like I can't say like for me, like I know I can't even say used to. Like I'm still sort of like that. I'm very defensive when it comes to shit. But just I wouldn't necessarily say that like I would ever be like, yo, where's the Carfax or some shit like that. Like I
nah,
Yeah.
wasn't,
nah,
I wasn't out here being that much of a dog or some shit. But like just in general, bro. Like for me, like I said, like I just when it would come down to like an argument or a disagreement, I would just try to find ways to hit my shorty with the sham god and get out of being interrogated a lot of the
Mhm.
time. So I don't know. You got anything to say about it, Paul or Zach? Anything
Yeah, I
else?
would say like denial is like such a terrible toxic trait to have because like if you're in denial, like it just makes like situations hard to like to deal with, and like you just won't grow from that situation, you know. So like for an example, if you and your partner get into an argument and you can't admit your faults, like how are you ever gonna grow? Like there's no like you're like not leaving room for like light to be shone on that situation. So it just makes it very difficult, and it's like also very childish too because like you're not being honest with yourself, and like it just creates like such a aggravating environment to be in, and it leads to two people not wanting to communicate, and they know how like and like they know how it's gonna like end up being the next time there's like a disagreement, you know, like they just never want to like come together and like talk. They're just gonna be like, oh,
Yeah,
this person's just gonna like walk away and just like be like, no, you're wrong, and just like you said before, like how you were doing with like certain like things like in your past, like you just defend yourself, and you wouldn't like you wouldn't see it from their perspective, so it just becomes like an issue, and like and if you don't nip that in the butt, then obviously it could be like a reoccurring issue in like future like relationships, you know.
yeah. That like on some real shit. That's how my first relationship ended. I was just I was on some maternity shit, bro. It was just every time, bro. I was just like, yo, where the Carfax at? Yo, like I'm telling you, bro, it was bad, man. It took a lot of just personal fucking growth and development to get over that. I still deal with that issue.
Well, with
So
denial.
yeah, bro, man.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
feel
man.
like we all do. Yeah.
I would say like for us with this one, I would say it's like intense denial. Somebody that could just never own up to that shit, bro.
Hmm.
You got
I
anything to say about that, Zach? Mr. King Size Bed.
mean,
I,
do
I mean,
you have any experiences with that? Like any like
I feel
examples?
like I feel like I used to be like that when I was in middle school. Because in middle school, I didn't take any relationship serious. I cheated on every single girl I dated in middle school. And like, I don't know if they know or if they're watching this, but like, I don't care. We were like 12 or 13. I cheated on all of them, like with their friends too. Paul, I don't know if you knew me in middle school,
I've
but
heard about you, but
there was a girl I was with, bro. I mean, back then, like hooking up was like kind of just like the way sex is now, I guess. Just making out. I would just make out with all of her friends. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
I feel like yeah, I do.
And like she would be like people saw you doing it with her. I was like, nah, that wasn't me. I went
Trying,
home.
just trying to keep a hush hush, you know.
I went home, bro. I wasn't at school with some shit. I don't know. I used to deny everything. I don't deny shit anymore. I kind of like I don't like because I'm not even asked questions like that where I have to be in denial. Like,
You see.
and
In terms of categories like that, like when
I'm in a
you
relationship now, I just do what I have to do. Like I'm not being like really sketchy or nothing no more.
I'm not like when I say it too, like I'm not saying like I'm sketchy, like I'm some like just some grimy ass dude out here, bro. I mean like just in terms of just, do you ever just own up to like just your faults as a person in your relationship?
No, I actually am deniable when I'm not dating the girl. I forgot. When I talk to a girl, she'll ask me be like, "Yo, are you fucking with anyone else?" I'll just say, "Nah, like I don't talk to no one. I just talk to you." And then they'll just be like, "Oh, word." Like that's when I'll be deniable. But sometimes it's true.
Do you do that?
That's how I know this man's a dog, bro.
Wait,
Because
wait, hold on.
everything that has
Wait, hold on. Wait. So when you like when they ask that question, if you're talking to anybody else and you say nah, do you do it mainly just because you feel like it's none of their business really like and like you're single and you can do whatever you want, or you kind of like
Well, I'm pretty open in my sexual life, so like I'll tell you if I hit. But like if I'm like on the pace of if I like this girl and I'm dating her, I'll tell her the truth. Be like, "Yo, I'm talking to her, but I'll break it off because I fuck with you." But if it's just a thought, I'll literally just be like, "Nah, no one." Blah blah blah. While I'm still fucking with others.
so
Because
you're living?
when I'm single, I don't care. But when I'm dating, that's lockdown. Like I'm not fucking around. Like just you. If that answers the question.
Do you live in that bachelor life, just picking,
I'm on my
have a whole lineup of
all
women and
my
you just
Austin
say,
Power shit when I'm single.
Nah, that's what I'm saying. That's how you know this man is a dog, bro. Because denial, like I took
Single when
denial
I'm
to a
single.
whole different. I took that to a whole different route in terms of just not being or accepting shit that you do as a person.
yeah.
But like he just took denial as just cheating, like cheating. But it is what it is. We'll
I mean,
go to
like denial's like cheating in a relationship, kind of. Cause
no, it's not, bro.
what
Denial
else
is
are you
like
lying about? Like fucking, I'm going
bro,
to.
it's not. Yo, denial isn't lying about something. It's just denying something.
Denying
Like
something,
in
yeah.
certain, yeah, like
What are you
for
fucking
some,
denying about? Like saying you're going to the dentist, but you're really going to McDonald's? Like, what do you mean?
bro. All
Nah,
right, all right,
so I,
all right. Step into my office, bro.
wait,
Like literally, like denial could be like for an example, like.
I want to do the example.
All right, you got it, bro. You
Nah,
make it seem like we didn't talk about this shit before we hopped on,
yo,
bro. Like,
yeah,
what
nah.
the
So
fuck?
real quick. So basically, it's like, all right. So you said how you cheated in like your past relationships, right?
Like long time ago, I haven't.
Yeah, all right. So long, yeah, long time ago. So say like you're with that girl, and she found out, and she's like, Zach, like we got to talk about this. Like I know you cheated. I have the proof. I caught you, and I just want to know what's up. And you respond, you're like, oh nah, that didn't happen. I don't know what you're talking about, and then you like duck the situation. You're in denial. You're like, oh, like you just you get where I'm going.
Yeah, I
You know
kind
what
of
I'm
want to move away
Talk
from the
I just
cheating.
say
Like
no.
for an
Just come up
example,
with excuses.
nah, like I'm just gonna leave the whole cheating thing because Zach's mind is just geared towards cheating for some weird reason.
saying?
Oh, I hate
Like
cheaters.
for like for an example, like for an example, like something for you to be in denial about is like um let's say that your significant other is coming up to you and they're telling you something that they don't like that you do that's not cheating. Like for an example, they tell you that hey, like I feel like you don't, ever for some weird reason, like we don't ever do anything romantic. Rather than you listening to her or him or whatever your significant other is, just listening to them and taking in what they have to say to you, you kind of just duck the whole entire situation. And like for an
Oh,
example,
crazy.
you'd be like, yeah, like, oh, but don't you remember when I took you out like so and so? Like for some reason you don't seem to appreciate that from me. It's just the act of just not owning up as a person
I
to
feel.
to, sh- to shit that you do. It's just not cheating
Yeah.
only, bro.
I feel that.
So we're gonna move on to the next one, bro. We've been taking some heavy caveats with these, but it's good shit to talk about, man. You gotta speak it. So the next one that we have is having an overly controlling partner. Like I said before, man, I'm not on that shit. I'm very lax when it comes to the girls that I'm with. I always tell them like, yo, you can do you do you, and like no, I wouldn't necessarily say like you do you and I do me, but like I I'm not out here trying to take away your freedom from you. Like I'm not gonna be like, oh, you can't go out with the girls or some weird shit like that, or like,
Yeah.
oh, you gotta stay here with me, like type shit. Like I'm not controlling in that sense. I'm not like looking through like my girls' phones or doing any of that weird like simp shit. Like you can have your life and you can do you. I'm not gonna be like, oh, you weren't have to go out tonight. Like one of those motherfuckers, bro. Like I'm not on
Yeah.
that shit. Like you do you. You have your entire life to live, and I'm not trying to impede you or stop you from doing whatever it is that you need to do. I'm not putting limiters on you and telling you can't associate with so and so and so and so and so and so. The most I might ask you to do is, hey, don't post that picture of me. I think I don't look good in that photo.
Yeah.
Or be like, yo, like you don't talk about certain business of mine with certain people that talk too much or some shit like that. But I'm not controlling. I think just dealing with like a controlling partner. I mean, there's different levels of controlling,
Yeah.
whether you believe it or not. There could be like someone that's a lot more physical. I mean, that's what you mostly get. I wouldn't say physical controlling, but like in a sense of someone that comes up to you and they're like, hey, I don't want you doing this, I don't want you doing that. Or you could be dealing with somebody that's controlling in a sense where
More
they kind
mentally.
of guilt trip you into controlling you, and that's a scary one to deal with.
Oh yeah, that.
If you're
Oh,
getting guilt tripped into
yeah.
being controlled, or like for an example, like I don't want to say like I'm pretty sure like I don't want to say everyone, but like you deal with some people where they're like, oh no, you can't leave me, like I'll do something to physically
Are,
harm myself
are you
or
are
something like that.
are you talking about like when your girl wants you to like go to like one of her family events, and then you say no, and then she's like, "Oh, come on, like my family really wants to see you. It looks bad on you." Then it guilt trips you into going.
No, nigga, I don't mean it like that, bro. I mean
No,
it like
that's I.
nah, that's like that's normal, bro. That's some
Yeah.
regular shit. I'm
Nah,
talking about like when you're being
I don't like
guilt.
my girlfriend's families like that.
Okay, bro,
Oh,
that's cool. That's cool. That's good to know you, dog. But like
No,
for
no,
other,
no, no, no,
bro,
no. No, I
no, no,
just
no,
feel
no,
weird
no.
about around my girl's parents.
Okay, bro, that's
oh,
a lot of people feel that way too. But I'm just saying, like in general, like damn, you're making me lose my train of thought with this shit. What I'm trying to say, like in general, is somebody that like for an example, like if you're with someone and they're like, hey, I don't want you to go see your friends because when you're with your friends, so and so, so and so, so and
You're
so.
mad,
That's
ratchet.
not. Oh, shut up, Zach. What I'm trying to say is like when you're just with someone like that's controlling you, but they're using guilt as a way to enforce their control over you as a person. Um, like, like if you're dating a fucking simp and they're like, hey, like I don't want you wearing these particular clothes, and they're like, oh, you're gonna cheat me, you're gonna leave me, but they don't enforce it in like a physical or an authoritative kind of way. They do it in a passive kind of way, and that could be controlling you in a certain sense.
no,
So like they're like shaming you.
no,
It's not shaming at all, brother.
no.
It's like you're being guilt tripped into doing something, and I don't mean like something as in like going to see the in-laws or like going to hang out with your girl and her friends or some shit. Like I mean like you're being guilt tripped, and that guilt trip itself is limiting you from being the person that you are. Like for an
Yeah,
example, like
Oh,
like
not to
stopping
cut
you
you
from
off, Paul.
like yeah, go ahead. No,
Like I'm on this platform right here. Like let's say that we were a poppin' ass podcast and like my girl would tell me, you know, out of nowhere, like I don't want you doing this podcast anymore. Like that podcast might put you in a position where other girls would want to talk to you or like get at you. So
yep,
she would be physically controlling me and limiting me from reaching my level of success just because of an insecurity that's controlling you, but through you know, like a passive sort of I forgot the word that I used. Controlling you through because I said there's a controlling aspect through guilt
yeah,
in a sort of sense like that, you know.
yeah. Like when you're trying to when you and your girl are getting ready to go out, and then she's like, "Oh, those jeans make you look fat." That guilt trips. Then it makes you want to take the jeans off and change jeans.
Yeah, wow,
nah, yeah.
we're not even on the same planet right now, bro. Paul, what do you got to
Yo,
say, bro?
nah, yeah, for that I said, controlling is such a possessive trait to have in a relationship. You never want to control anyone in a relationship. That's like absolutely like a no. You know, controlling someone you care about isn't going to like keep them from like cheating or you know whatever the case may be. If anything, it will push them to want to do more sneaky stuff. And you're creating like an uncomfortable environment, and it's going to be filled with lies like left and right.
Are you,
Uh,
are you talking about pretending to be someone you're not so the girl likes you?
oh, so
It's confused.
Bro,
like
you're acting like we did not
yeah,
discuss this shit and come up with this shit off air, bro. Like controlling, like being in a controlling relationship is where you're being dominated by someone to a certain extent.
What
Like
you're talking
if
about?
you're in a relationship and you don't let your girlfriend go out because you're insecure about yourself, and you tell her, "Hey, I don't want you going out. I don't want you hanging out with them. I don't want you texting them. I don't want you talking or associating yourselves with these people. I don't want you posting that on IG." Like it's you're controlling them. It's not I don't want you to wear these jeans to go out because you look fat. That's that we're not even in the same ballpark here. Like in terms of control, it's like you're limiting a person from reaching their full potential or doing the things that they would usually do.
So
It's
like,
not like yeah, you
so
can go.
it's like my ex. I made her block her ex. I was like, "Yo, you gotta block your ex right now, because I do not want to see you in his likes, because that's gonna piss me off." So Is that controlling or is that normal? Because for me, that's normal. I don't want to see you in his likes.
Um,
Uh,
I
I wouldn't really say it's controlling.
that's
That's
not
like that's understandable to be honest with you, but like
like if you took like if for some reason like her man lived in the same like neighborhood or like was in the same town as her and you're like I don't want you going out
It's
because
right
you
next.
might.
I
Okay,
don't want
okay.
to associate.
You're giving mad
Nothing.
personal details, bro.
it,
But like, I mean, like to a certain extent, like if you were just like, hey, like I don't want you going out because you might bump into that suck ass nigga, bro, or some shit like that, and you're kind of just like holding on to her and just like not letting her grow, bro. But I don't know how I could explain
it,
it any
I'm
better
not.
than
I'm
you,
it's
not
bro.
that OD with it. I'm just like, yo, block his shit.
Yeah, by controlling we mean like being OD as fuck, bro. Like that's what
like
controlling
like
is.
basically for an like example, like your
It's like,
girl.
it's like, it's like, um, taking a picture with your dick in her mouth and then sending it to all the guys that DM her. That's too controlling, right?
That's
Nah,
just fucking weird.
that's
All right,
No, when someone's trying to DM your girl and you do that.
nah, bro, you're
uh,
canceled. Paul, what do you got
so
to say, bro?
no, yeah, just to finish that off, I was saying I've heard of like so many stories about people saying they had to hide their Snap stories from like their significant other and act like they're sleeping so they don't have to be questioned about their whereabouts because like their partner is like super controlling. And it's just like, it's sad. It's just like you shouldn't feel like you can't communicate with your partner and tell them like, hey, like I'm going out with my friends, like I'm doing this and doing that. Like I've like heard like so many stories of like people being like, oh, like you don't hang out with me enough, like you're always with them. And it's just like everyone has to have a life. Like you can't like always have your partner up your ass. Like you
Hmm.
gotta let them live their life, do their thing. Like you guys aren't married yet. You guys are young. She needs to have a life too. Just because like she saw her friends like 3 times a week and she saw you once that week, don't be annoying. Like it's just like like it becomes like kind of like in a way like clingy. Like there's a good
Yeah,
clingy and a bad clingy. Like I don't mind like my girls like clingy. I mean, like obviously, if you like someone like you, I mean, everyone's different. Everyone's different, but I mean, but it's just like you don't want to be that person that's just like, yo, like, like I don't want to be that person that would be like, oh, like don't hang out with the friends, like hang out with me, like they're the bad influences. Like even if they are, it's just like you gotta.
yeah,
I mean, like even if that may be true, like you kind of like gotta trust your girl, like that's where like
exactly.
lack of trust kind of like falls into that too. Like you gotta. It's just I don't know, like most of these like that we're speaking about now is just like insecurities, controlling. Like
Yeah,
what are you controlling for? Like are you out, doing stuff that you're not supposed to be doing, and like you're afraid that she might be doing the same thing because deep down inside you're a dog. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
so.
It comes from a place of insecurity, just altogether, man. I wholeheartedly agree with you on that. Just
Controlling,
dealing with deal.
controlling can also be a positive trait because like sometimes you gotta control a little to steer into the right direction of her goals and shit like that. Sometimes like she's slacking, you gotta be like, oh nah, like didn't you say you had to get clothes today for that interview tomorrow? And like she's in bed, be like, oh no, like
That's not controlling. That's
It's not
enforcing.
controlling. That's yeah.
That's
nah,
enforcing.
be like, yo, get your fucking clothes for that
That's
interview
like re
out of
nah,
bed.
that's reinforcing someone, controlling someone, and that's like we're talking about toxic traits. So like you got to think of controlling in a toxic aspect where you're just you know. But let's go into the next one. We have lack of or breakdown of communication. That's a scary place to be, man.
That's my
When
worst.
you're in a relationship and like you probably don't hear like I'm not one of those people where I'm like, yo, you gotta text me like every second or like, but like you going on like multiple days, but you're not even communicating with
No.
the person that you're with, or just like in general, like when you guys are having any sort of communication, it turns into some sort of a spat or an argument. Um, or just in general where like it comes into denial like there's just a whole bunch of disagreements and just you feel like the communication isn't sort of going in any particular direction.
Mhm.
It's a bad place to be in, man. A lack of communication that usually is a foreshadower of the end, in my opinion. If I'm being real. um Lack of communication is a bitch, man, and to have any sort of healthy relationship that you're in, you're gonna need a good amount of communication. You're gonna need like I said, a good amount of trust also. And communication, just being able to, understand each other, just have, proper dialogue or just enjoy each other's company. Like if everything's turning into an argument or there's just no sort of communication and shit's just really dull and void, then why are you even dating, bro?
Yeah.
Communication is key for me. That's my number one.
Yeah, to add on what Kevin was saying, like this can lead to like like loads of trouble in a relationship. Things can get misconstrued. Feelings are like not being talked about. No one's expressing like emotions properly. It leads to like very like miserable relationships if both parties are like if they can't meet in the middle. If they can't compromise, if they can't make a balance on both things so that they both can like coexist. It's just truly not a fun time for people to start doing whatever. Like it like leads to like just like toxic stuff. Like it's not a fun environment to be in. Like for example, if your significant other is still talking to her ex and that bothers you and you don't tell them, like it's just gonna like blow up in like an argument eventually. Like you're gonna end up like lashing out in like the wrong way, and then like that's not good communication. Like if something bothers you, I feel like you should like address it like immediately, but like in an
Yeah,
appropriate like manner, like tone and everything. Like you don't have to be aggressive. Just be like, hey, like something's bothering me. I want to talk to you about it. Like can we like sit down and like discuss it? And if they care about you and it's like a reasonable thing, or I guess or whatever, like obviously that person, whoever you're with, will like fix it, and you guys will move on and grow from that situation.
yeah.
Uh,
Like you said, you got to voice your opinions in a relationship. You got to say where you're coming from. You got to express yourself fully. And if you're not doing that in a relationship, like I said before, then why the fuck are you even doing it, bro? Like no
yeah,
one wants to be in a position where they feel trapped, or they're with someone that doesn't, get or fully understand them, or someone that they can't even fully express themselves to. It's like you said, it's a place where it's a big negative. It's a void ass relationship to be in.
yeah,
And yeah, communication is key, man. We had that in the past video from a girl that you want to cuff and you want to make wifey. You want those communication skills. You want to be able to discuss, certain complex things with her. You want to be able to just enjoy like regular ass conversation. You want to, you got to flourish, man. Communication is where
yeah,
it's at, man. What about you, Zachary?
Yeah, I mean, communication, like I said before, it's number one for me. Like, I'm a strong believer in good morning and good night text. Like, if I don't get one of those, I, f- I feel a little off. I don't know. Like if they wake up before me, like I like waking up to a good morning text. Or if I fall asleep before them and I wake up to a good night text and then I say good morning, like oh it feels it's like it makes my heart feel warm.
yeah. So that's where like communication like falls, and like you just gotta like explain that to whoever like your partner, whoever like your partner is, or whoever you end up with. But like, hey, like I'm a type of person that like enjoys like good morning text like first or whatever, or something like that, and just explain to them, and if they're on board with it and they obviously care and stuff, like they'll like follow through or like try to like meet in the middle, compromise, and be like, oh, okay, I'll send you text messages first in the morning, but can you like send some text messages in the morning first? I mean, too, like some days or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's funny that you mentioned that like with through text because lack of communication can be two different things now. A lack of communication can be just a breakdown of communication when you're in person and also through
Yeah,
text and and phone calls like that. I think especially like if you for those that are in long distance relationships that can't see their significant other as much as possible, like it's always good to get a little FaceTime in there. I know not everyone is too savvy when it comes to texting and being on top of that 24/7, but
yeah,
you always got to take some time out of your, I wouldn't say your day necessarily because everyone's fucking busy these days.
mm,
We're grown folk now, but if you could take some time out of your day or your week to just tap in and check in with your significant other, that's always important and that's always appreciated. Yeah, lack of communication.
Yeah.
Is there anything else any concluding thoughts on that?
nah, you just like you truly just need like strong communication for that to like work out, I
And
freaking
that
definitely. Yeah, my bad, not to cut you off. Like, just like
No,
social,
no, yeah, you can say, keep going, my
just to,
bad.
just to like definitely in person, like you definitely need that. Like, I mean, like I really like my communication skills through text is like kind of poor. I guess you could say I'm kind of like old schoolish. Like I rather like talk on the phone or
Send a
like see in
mad voice.
person. Yeah, or send voice notes, like some new stuff or whatever. Like I really don't. I'm not like a texter. Like I really don't like talking, like having a full conversation through text like that. Like I will if I have to. You know what I mean? Like obviously, if I'm somewhere and I can't like talk to you on the phone, or you're somewhere you can't talk on the phone, like obviously we have no choice but to talk it out. But like if possible, like I'll just call you, I'll FaceTime you, I'll try to see you in person. Well, nowadays I can't see anybody in person, so I'm gonna have to FaceTime them or call them.
I
So
feel
it's just, huh?
waking up. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Waking up to the morning to one of your voice notes, bro. Shit's fire, bro. That
Yeah.
sexy voice note in the
Oh,
morning.
thank you. I'll definitely try to send you more.
Like good morning.
He want a good morning and
Sleep
good
and
night
shit
one,
like
bro.
that.
Yeah.
If, yo, I feel like your voice, like when you send me a voice note at night, bro, I feel like my
It puts you
blanket
to sleep.
magically tucks me in, bro, with your
Yeah.
voice.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Hopefully,
But yeah,
hopefully
man.
the people I talk to feel that way too.
Sometimes I'll be listening while I'm brushing my teeth, showering and shit, you know?
I agree with Paul, man. I'm not really super. I mean, I am tech savvy. I can't even front. Like, I feel like I'm a pretty good, interesting texter. But just in general, like over time, when you date someone, like I'm not gonna be on it 24/7, you know. And I do have
Yeah.
moments where, you know, I'm doing something and I don't, formally say, hey, like I'm out, I'm doing something, and then like I may not text back for like an hour or two. I might be on my light skin shit, and that does always kind of end up into some sort of turmoil or
That
disagreement. Just
yeah,
common courtesy, man. Just have common courtesy when it comes to the communication through text
yeah.
and stuff
If you're
like
gonna
that.
if
You're
you're gonna
mad
be kissing,
detailed in your text. It's like whenever you
Yeah,
send a paragraph, I'm like, oh fuck that, I'm not typing it. I'm a FaceTime. That's why I just FaceTime you.
yeah, you just gotta.
yeah.
He wants to get his message across like clearly. So it's just like he makes it like that. So
No, when I'm texting someone, like when I'm actually texting and there's like a discourse, like I'm texting and like I'm using big words and shit. Like I the same way I talk in person, I'd say I do in text, but like there's
yeah,
obviously gonna be like some grammatic and like
yeah,
spelling
yeah, like
spelling errors, if especially if I'm sending that shit fast. But
Yo, bro,
yeah,
doesn't
like
that shit get annoying when you like when you're texting and then you get a long ass paragraph? You're like, oh fuck.
not really, man. I rather appreciate that, man. Like through text, bro. Like I feel like that shit's kind of booty. Like if you're in a relationship with someone and they like, no offense, Paul,
nah. So
and you're getting like, you're getting like very like vague and like, like fucking just like, like ass wipe kind of like responses to shit that you're saying. Like that shit could be, I don't know. I think that shit's kind of trash. But if you're texting, like I know not everyone is text savvy or texting savvy, but like, yo, like I would want to at least feel like someone is somewhat engaged in what I'm saying to them or the discourse that we're having.
yeah,
So I don't mind getting a if it's like like if it's a disagreement and I get
I
that
feel
essay, it's like damn. But like if we're just having a regular conversation, that just lets me know that someone's like
Uh,
interested in the convo that we're having in
I'm
general.
like I'm like half and half for texting. Sometimes
it.
I'll care. Sometimes I'll just send you some bullshit.
Nah, like for like the beginning of like when I'm talking to someone, like obviously like I'll be super into it because I know like I don't want to say like females, but like I know some people are like super into texting like at the very beginning too.
You
So
have
it's
to
just
get
like
interest.
and to like keep them like interested, you just kind of like gotta like I don't want to say do everything right, but you definitely want to keep them interested. So I mean like especially if like they're getting to know you. Some people are like different. Like I don't want to say weird, but some people are different. Like I've encountered women where it's like when I first started talking to them, like they didn't really like want to FaceTime or talk on the phone until like they really got to know me. So I had to suck it up and like do I had a text like but I'm not gonna say that like I send like one worded text messages or like because that's kind of dickish. Like I obviously like when I'm texting someone I do try to make it like lengthy and like or like meaningful or whatever, but I just don't like go in. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense, I don't know. But I do hear what you're saying, Kevin. Like it does I guess mean a lot like when someone like is showing like effort into like the conversation like you see it through like like the length of the text. So
Yo, and you put me on low key. This is a gem, bro. Like if you're having like a disagreement or like you're talking on the phone and it's sometimes it's good to send that voice message instead of the text message, bro. A text message is very
yeah,
blank. A text message is
bro.
very blank. You don't know like in what type of tone the person's reading it in
Yeah,
or what they think you're saying. Like, it's so much more easier sometimes to just get the voice message, say what you gotta say,
yeah,
and even when you're saying it in a voice message, you're like, bro, I can't be too tight. Like, I gotta check my tone when I'm saying
yeah,
it
exactly,
to my
bro.
significant other,
Exactly.
and you can get the point across a whole lot easier,
Yeah,
man.
you can. Yeah.
Having verbal disagreements through text, bro, like that's a tough valley to be in, bro.
I don't want to say it's like bad communication, like to argue through text, but like it's really not good. Like I feel like if anything, you guys should definitely like talk about it like in person or like to or at least like able like be able to like hear each other's voice. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah,
said, like you incorporated like voice notes and like you corrected your tone because you don't want to convey your message like in like a very like wrong way. Um, like because there's been so many like instances where like I've like gotten into an argument through text and I'm reading something from my perspective and I'm like, did they say it mean it this way? Like why? You know what I'm saying? And then like I go over it with them and they're like, oh no, I totally didn't mean it that way. And it's just like, oh, like it kind of sounded that way. So like it just kind of like you it kind of gets like misconstrued a little bit. So
yeah. Couldn't have said it any better.
yeah.
I mean, this dude a clown, but yeah. So we're gonna get into the last of the five toxic traits that you can find within a relationship. And the last one, like we always like to do, we did it with the last one. We just gotta take something that sticks out to us personally, so we all kind of just have our own personal toxic trait. Well, not our personal own. Like I'm not like this. I'm a good guy, but I mean, just in terms of shit that like we see that could be a very toxic trait in a relationship. I'll just hop into it. I'll
Do
clear the dust.
yeah.
So mine for a toxic trait I would say is where you don't see a future with someone that you're with. I mean, as a jit or as a youngin, like when you're dating, like it's different. Like you don't really like take that into accord. You're like, hey, this is someone that I find attractive, and this is what we're doing. But as you begin to get older, and I wouldn't say like older, but like as you begin to mature a bit more, and you mature in your relationships as well. If you're with someone and you don't really necessarily see a foreseeable future with them, or you see like about like I don't want to say like red flags, like a lot of traits that you see that you can't grow with, or you would always want someone that's there in your corner that you can evolve with. But if you're not seeing those types of things on a consistent basis. This is because there's a lot of times where you could be in a relationship and the relationship itself could just be for lack of a better words, like a fling. But like
Mhm.
I feel like if you're really cuffing and you're in a real, serious relationship, you got to see, foreseeable future with the person that you're with, and you got to exemplify those characteristics of, just being someone that you can see a foreseeable future with. At least for me personally, like if you're dating someone and you're just dating them just to date them, um, what the fuck is the point? You're wasting time
Yeah.
um, and you're wasting that person's growth, man. So that's mine. A
I,
future.
yeah, I would say to add on. I'm sorry. Yeah, to add
Nah,
on.
you can go.
Oh, okay. Yeah, to add on to that, that's like I don't know. I remember people in high school would date each other just to date. It's like, oh, they're attractive. Like I want to date them, and like, and then like you would see a lot of relationships like in high school last for like at most like a month, and then they would just date somebody else like very quickly, and then they're like, oh, why is it not lasting? This and that, and it's just like you're not taking the time to get to know them and to like look at it from like long term. Like you're I don't want to say you're taking it as a joke, but like you're just not doing it, I guess, for the right reasons, like wholeheartedly, like it's just like
It's like a short term fix, bro. It's just
yeah, exactly. Like you're lonely, like you like to have someone there, but it's not like you want to build a future with this person. Like you were saying before, you like we're grown folks now. We're so busy in the day, like we don't really have time to really just be wasting anyone's time or to have our times wasted. Like we want someone to, be on the same level as us, like intellectually, like like financially. Um, we just you want to grow with them. Like you shouldn't date someone just to date, especially like like out of high school. I feel like after high school, like that stuff should start ending. Like you got to start working like hard towards your future and like for your kids if you want to have kids in the future. You know what I'm saying? Like you just need someone that's on the same plane level as you. You know, just someone that's hardworking, everything like this. Yeah, just like everything basically. Like you just
Yeah,
you know
you gotta be about your purpose, bro. And you gotta
yeah
be with someone that's also could help facilitate that purpose for yours, and help you to continue to flourish, man. It ain't always about just dating someone. I feel like we see that a lot in the media now. You just dating somebody because they're bad or they look good or something like that. But
yeah
that's not all that's really important, bro. Like if you're
mm,
maturing and you're an actual adult and you're actually trying to find like certain characteristics, and we said like before, like just wifeable characteristics and
yeah
shit that you would like to incorporate that, and then you say, hey, like this is someone I can build with. This is someone that I can continue to grow, and that's very important. What
you
about
got
you?
anything
Who wants to go next? I'm just about done with that. I feel like it's really simple,
you got anything
straight
to
to
add
the
to
point.
that, Zach, about future? No, no. If so, for mine, I put being physical during like verbal altercations or like disagreements. So basically, like,
Putting the
uh,
beats on them.
yeah,
I'm
like
joking.
there's absolutely no reason for you to be laying hands on like anyone during disagreements or like frustrating times. You know, like it's just uncalled for. It's like very mature, and that's like not a way to communicate. Obviously, like if anything, you're creating like a very scary like atmosphere, and to where the person like won't even want to like come like speak to you when like there's something that needs to be like discussed or whatever. It just becomes like very frightening. Like it's just not like a good thing to be in. Like you're a big boy. Like use your words. There's no reason to throw your hands like when you're upset because your significant other isn't a punching bag. You know, like it's your partner, someone that is on the same team as you. You know,
Yeah,
I don't
man,
know why.
that's some real shit, man. That's some real shit, man. You guys, man, you gotta mature. I can't even say guys because there's women that also do get physical with the
Yep,
people that they're with too, man. You got to be able to control yourself, bro. Like that's not where it's at. Like if you're taking that's a whole nother level that you're taking the relationship to, and it's just like if you're getting physical with someone, and I say this on both sides because people, we all are people. I mean, I don't condone violence in any certain way, but like if you're getting physical with someone, you're leaving yourself liable to be, for someone to be physical back with you, and
yeah,
that could escalate stuff to a whole different, trajectory that that you're trying to go for. Someone that you love should be someone that you should be able to discuss your shit with, and like as an adult, as a mature adult, and getting physical, man, that is not the way to go, man. That is a ginormous red flag, bro, in a relationship.
yeah.
People that get physical, like
And
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
like,
you
what's
guys should never
As
try to. You guys should never try to like down each other either. Like shame each other for anything.
no, absolutely. I feel like it's just like you like I feel like honestly people who are like abusers like that like they never obviously like never show that like very early like in a relationship. They kind of just do that like later on, you know,
Your
when
true
you feel
colors.
huh.
You show your true colors.
Yeah, exactly. You get comfortable. You're just like, all right, like I have this person like locked in my life now. Like, let me start like breaking out the beast a little bit, you know, which is like that, which is sad to say. And they're just like, oh, let me show her some of these like hands, like these techniques that I got like under my belt.
Yeah,
Like, it's just,
I
it's
told I tell girls that like right away. Like I'm a dickhead. Like I tell them like I'm a dickhead, but like I'm a funny dickhead. Like right away, I tell them that if you can't handle that, like if you're a really nice person, can't handle that, you're not gonna be able to handle me. I need someone that's gonna cut ass on me too, like but in a playful way, not downing anyone, shaming anyone.
yeah. I mean, have you ever been in like a physical like altercation with like your significant other? Or...
No, I mean I'll like a few of my exes like I would tell them like I'll be mad annoying, and they'll be like, "Yo, bro, like I want to hit you, like chill out," and then I'll be like, "All right, so stuff me then." They'll stuff me, and then like they're all weak, so like I don't really feel anything, but they'll just do it to get it out of the way.
Yeah, okay.
Nah, I mean, like I'll play fight like in a cute way,
Yeah,
but
play
like
for
I ain't, what I'm saying, I ain't out here fucking,
throwing jabs and like
throwing jabs and
hooks and stuff,
fucking,
haymakers.
fucking hit my shorty with the Stone Cold Stunner type shit, bro. I that's I don't know. Excuse my laughing, bro, because we're making light of the situation, but it's some real shit, man. That's just not the way you want to go at all, bro. Like that is just, whew, that is scary, bro. That's
You
a
guys
scary
never
place
been
to be in.
snuffed before by like your girl?
What?
I mean, like I got punched in the arm, like
Yeah.
just like joking around, and like I've been like slapped, but like in a an enjoyable fashion. Let me shut up, like in an
In
enjoyable
an
fashion,
enjoyable fashion.
bro. But like I ain't never like nah, bro. I ain't out here I ain't out here squaring up with my girl and she ain't
No,
squaring up with me.
I'm not
That's
squaring up. I just let them punch me in the face to get their anger out.
Nah, there's never been a
nah, bro.
situation where
I ain't doing that.
nah, there's never been a situation where like they had to like lay their hands on me out of like just to release some frustration. Like that's like I
I'll tell
remember
you.
I remember being like young and like kind of offering that as a solution for them to not be mad at me anymore. But obviously they were very like thank God they were very mature and they were just like, oh no, because I would have had a few marks on my face. But nah, it's never came to that where I was just like, oh, like hit me. Like I know you're upset, but like this is the right thing to do. Like for you to release your like your frustration and anger. Like that's not good.
I don't know if you ever been with a Latina with a short temper before then.
I hear all these stories about like dating Latinos that are aggressive, which is fine. You know, it is sexy. But like laying hands on me is not gonna be the solution for you. It's gonna make things 10 times worse. I don't. That's not okay.
Well, like
I mean,
most of the girls I date are a lot smaller than me, so like when they hit me, like this shit doesn't hurt.
Well, out of anger or joking, because I feel like
Yeah, I
yeah,
say give me your best shot. I want to see if I feel pain or not.
nah, like when we talk about like getting physical, bro, I'm talking about like this is
I'm never
toxic relationship
yeah,
shit.
I'm never gonna
Like,
hurt any girl. Like I'm never gonna do that.
nah, but I'm just saying, like, and like, I don't want to make like, cause I've been laughing and I've been, doing, but like, I'm not trying to make light of the situation at all. Like, there are women that do, like, I understand that you're depicting and you're saying like you've been with like shorter girl. There are women that fucking that put hands on their
Yeah,
man, bro, and
no,
like
I will
they
never,
fuck them up too.
I will
And
never
I'm not.
hurt a woman physically ever. That shit is like what's the word? Not disgusting, but like that shit just makes that's very unmanly.
I don't even want to put it like in a sort of like a gender kind of thing or
yeah,
like that's manly because I was describing it before, like there are women that beat the fuck out of their husbands or like they beat the fuck out of their mans. Like it's not cool on any level that it's on, whether it be a man that's physically abusing his wife or just not wife or girlfriend or just a person that they're with. Just physical abuse on any scale is just it's not warranted. Like we're all adults here. We could sit down. We could discuss something.
How
If
are you
we have
gonna
a
get beat up by
disagreement
a
or
girl?
if we have
what?
a disagreement,
You
you could
have
just
to
take a
get
walk.
beat up by your girl.
That like it's not even something to laugh about, bro. Like there are women that be fucking,
Yeah, they like
they be
obviously
they be clocking you, bro. Like you be asleep, they beat the shit out you, bro. And shit
and,
happens,
and
man.
there's men
It's
there's men that take it because they were raised like not to put their
Retaliate.
hands on women, and then there's others that are like, oh, like if you put your hands on me, I'm gonna put my hands back on you as well, and it's like that's not good. So
Yeah, man, shit could really escalate, bro. Like, imagine. I'm not trying to say this is what something that you would do in any scale, but imagine if you're like a random dude, like you're a dude that's with a girl, and you're like, oh, hit me if you're pissed off, and she kind of, she kind of hits you with an ill ass, combo, and then you're like, oh, word, and then you feel it's necessary for you to get, physical, and shit could end up, really bad, or shit could really end up in, in cuffs, bro. And that's not what we trying to do,
I
bro.
will, I will never get beat
Now,
up by a girl. If I get beat up by a girl, I'll just hit up one of my homegirls to fuck her up, since I can't touch her.
all right, I
that's
think this is as good as time as any to just pass it off to Zach. What is your toxic trait?
Oh, forceful, like forcing
Forceful.
a relationship.
explain that a little.
Um, yeah, you gotta explain that a bit more.
Like so like saying like you're putting mad effort into her, but you're not receiving effort from her. Like she's kind of just chilling while you're doing mad work. Like you're kind of forcing the relationship, and
Okay.
like
Yeah, I feel like I'm trying to find the word. It's just like
Yeah,
when it's just like the energy level that's within the relationship just
I guess
doesn't
yeah,
lack of
match.
you gotta
effort.
match energy.
I'm trying to find like the right word for that. I don't.
But we say lack
It's
of
not
like
popping up to me.
effort, I
Like
guess.
if she's not on the same type of time as you, then like you're kind of just forcing it.
Just sort of
So
just where you're just not reciprocate. Like there's not like there's not people aren't just reciprocating the same amount of effort in a relationship. And I think yeah, that's a big dud, man.
Yeah, like say like you're putting in mad effort, like you're taking her out to eat, you're like you're like going on mad like dates, not even just eating, just doing mad shit with her. But she's like every single time you go out with her, she's just very bland. Like she doesn't really explain herself. She doesn't tell you about herself. She's kind of just there, just chilling, not really. I'm not gonna say put out, but like I'm not saying put out in a sexual way. I'm saying like put out in a way where she's showing any signs of trying to go
like
further into the relationship.
okay, so
Yeah.
I'm like for me, like I like to add on to what you were saying with that, like in like I would guess yeah, in my like last relationship, like a couple years ago. I remember like I would go out on dates and like I would just like not seem like interested. Like I would just have like a bland look. But I was weird back then. Like I wouldn't show like emotion. I wouldn't express like my emotions like properly, I guess. But like I would be like the happiest person, but I would just have a straight face. Like I was that weird. So like my ex didn't understand that, and like that would like really bother her, and she would just think that like um she would feel like oh like she was putting a lot of effort into stuff into like the dates and stuff like that, and like I just was just there like you were saying, but also to add on to that freak I lost my train of thought, came out of here.
All right, you want me to pick it up? And
Yeah, you can
I
pick
give
up
you
and
the,
I'll
I
pick
give you the
I'll give
sense later.
yeah,
All right. Yeah, I've been in situations like that. Where I've been, in relationships where I feel like I'm giving in a certain amount of effort, and just the other person that I'm with not giving me that sort of effort, and carrying that to another relationship where I felt like I wasn't giving my full effort because of what happened to me in the past, and being too fearful to let go of my full self. And then that going to where it goes, and then we break up and then get back together, and then I'm giving all the effort and then I'm not getting it. So I've been on that scale a whole bunch of times, to even now where I feel like wholeheartedly, like I'm still kind of torn on the energy or the amount that I'm supposed to give out,
yeah,
whereas I do feel like even the person that I am with now, like, thank God for her. She's a loving, endearing person. She gives me a whole lot of, she brings a whole lot to the table. And sometimes I feel myself trying to keep up, and match that energy. But it's not a really good place to be in a relationship. And it's always good to just show people that you care and show people that you appreciate what it is that they're doing for you,
yeah,
and also just trying to go out of your way, and just certain occasions that you have to treat them well, and and show them that you care, and that's really important in a relationship. I think that's a really good one. At least for me, I could say that I can wholeheartedly relate to that. Like
yeah,
it's important. You gotta a lot of the times people are going out of their way, they're doing a whole lot extra for you, and we have a tendency to either, just not understand or just show the appreciation that we have for them on a daily basis. But yeah, man, I'm appreciative, and you got to do what you can, to just show them that. Sometimes, a lot of times, a lot of people, when they do give you all that energy, sometimes they just want a reaction out of you for you to, express it the same way. It's crazy, man, because a lot of people, they have a tendency to fuck with people that don't really, give them that energy. And that's the
yeah,
funny part about it. A lot of people seem to be more attracted to people that aren't, as loving and as caring. And that ties back to a whole lot of, nurturing as a child. And I mean, I spoke about this before, in the last podcast with like having people that are anxious attachment styles, and people that are secure attachment styles, and also I'm trying to think of the other one, avoidant attachment styles. There's a whole lot of psychology that goes into that.
hmm
But yeah, it's always great to just have someone that could just give you the same amount of energy that you're putting out, man. You can meet them where you can meet even.
I
That's
like I
important.
like I like girls that are clingy, but like,
yeah.
not too clingy.
I feel like everyone can honestly relate to that, Zach. To not putting a lot of effort into a relationship. I feel like we've all been at the end of the spectrum with that. I don't know. Like, I mean, like, have you ever? I don't know if you guys ever been in a situation where it's just like you've put like a lot in, and like, I mean, obviously, like, yeah, you put a lot in, and then like you want that reciprocated. Like basically, like in my last relationship, there would be points where I would just like, I know women are kind of like weird with this, but like I don't know. I remember speaking to like my ex about it, and I was just like, oh, like I'm always taking you out, like, you know, like I like to feel appreciated too, like can you like take me out some days or whatever. Like I know that might seem like weird to some people, but like I don't know, it's cute. Like
Nah,
it's cute to know that girl
it
like,
really isn't.
you know, and that she like puts in effort and she wants to like take care of you in a way, and not fully, but like, you know, just like, you know, I'm trying to,
Nah,
but
I agree with you, man.
yeah, yeah,
It's staying facts, man.
just like basically,
It's good to get that love, man.
yeah, just reciprocate, you know. So
And yeah, we could go into the last part of the podcast. It's the new segment that we have. It's called "What Would You Do?" And this was actually created by our podcast dog himself, Zachary. What would you do? Where we come up with a particular scenario that we all submit, that we don't, you know, obviously tell each other of, you know, prior to the recording itself that we're doing right now live. But yeah, so we give our scenario. You know, all of us, you know, that are here, we give our take, and you know, how would we react to that particular scenario? And yeah, I'm just gonna get into it. We're gonna try. You know, this has been you know, a rather lengthy podcast, so we're gonna try to, you know, I mean, even if you guys fuck with it, you know, it is what it is. But we're gonna try and keep it
yeah,
a little bit, a tad bit more brief than we would. But honestly, I think we should expound on it because these are scenarios anyway. It is what it is. My scenario is, it's funny because we talked about this already, and um, I was like, and if you're in a situation where your significant other is getting physical with you in terms of they're hitting you, just what would you do, and how would you you know, yourself react in that situation? And for me, how I would react in a situation like that if my significant other is getting physical with me, it's rather simple. I would just, you know, walk away from the situation completely. I wouldn't mean like completely. Like I wouldn't just like immediately break up with them. But like if I'm chilling at the crib and then, you know, Shorty starts, you know, giving me her best, you know, Deontay Wilder impression, bro. Like I'm just gonna leave the crib and I'm gonna try and just leave the area and just let, you know, tension diffuse. And you know, when there is a lot more of a calmer space for us to talk and discuss what happened, you know, we could just come to you know, a better agreement like that. I know for me, as males, we have the luxury to just be like, all right, like it is what it is. But you know, for you know, for females that are in a situation, if your man gets physical with you, that's a whole different story. But for me personally, I would just leave the I'll just leave the area, man. And just try to get away from it. Just don't react. If anything, if I gotta sleep out the crib, you know, kick it on my boy's couch, or you know, just go listen to some music, or go do some different shit. Like then I'll do that. And then when it is time to come back and discuss what happened, you know, I'll just tell them how I felt and how I didn't appreciate that. How would you guys have reacted? I know younger me, I would have been wilding out. If it was younger me, I mean, I don't condone hitting women, but yeah, I know younger me. Like I've been in situations like when I'm younger and like a girl starts swinging on you, and you catch them in a little headlock, and you're like, oh, you ain't hitting me. You better chill out. But like I ain't doing that shit now, bro. Shit is
yeah,
wild, bro. You can't be doing dumb shit like that no more.
I would
nah,
still put her in a headlock, be like, you better chill the fuck out before my mom fucks you up.
you can say I'm gonna get my mom at you. To add on what Kevin was saying, I would definitely try to like remove myself from the situation like immediately as possible, just to diffuse it, because you know it's just not safe. You definitely want to like get out of there as quickly as possible. I don't condone. I mean, like Kevin was saying, like younger me would have like try to like, I guess, like play around with it and see how far it could go. Like probably like get them in like a little headlock or whatever. But like now, like if you know, if you can like just try to get out of there, you know, like, and it might be hard, especially if she's like charging at you and she just won't stop. Like I, you know, I
She got a
do
knife in her hand.
that That is a different
That,
story. I'm sorry, I'm beating your ass if you cut me. I'm letting that be known right now. I don't play with
nah,
that.
I'm running, bro. I'm
No.
running. I'm
Oh
just
no,
vacating,
absolutely.
bro.
No, absolutely. I'm gonna try to get out of there, but I'm saying like it's not going down how you're gonna want it to go down. Like don't that's different. You trying to hurt me now. You trying to like
If a, if
that's
a
not
bitch
cool.
if a bitch comes at me with a knife, bro, she's getting hit with the Randy Orton. Get him with
So,
that KO shit. RKO.
I, I'm running, bro. I'm just
nah,
running,
trust
bro.
me.
And if a knife comes out, that's a different story, man.
Absolutely.
That's like we could be on some real breakup shit. Like I'm through with you type shit
Yeah.
because you know
Nah,
that's a whole different ballpark that we're dealing with.
nah, yeah, that's crazy. Nah, they're like it's the same thing. Like I've been saying, just try to get out of there. Obviously, don't freaking sit there and fight. You know, like if they're charging at you, like without a knife, like obviously defend yourself. Like try to block the hits if you can, and just get out of there. You know, like yeah, like duck and weave and just dip. You know, just try to speak to them. Like I wouldn't leave them, like you were saying. I definitely would talk to them from a distance while they're calm and just be like, listen, like, you know, your actions were totally uncalled for. They're out of line. You know, like we don't operate like that. That's not how we do things. You know, we use our words. You know, you're upset about something or whatever the case may be. Is like you don't put your hands on me because I know you wouldn't want me to put my hands on you. Um, so like we're adults here. Like let's try not to do that again. And if it happens again, then leave them. Him, her, leave them. You know, like it's just like it because like the first time it's alarming already. You know, so the second time is just like like you just don't want to do that. I
You
remember
don't want it to be a reoccurring issue.
yeah. Like I remember telling like one of my like my female friends, she was like in a abusive relationship in the past, and like she just kept going back to him and whatnot. And I was just like, dude, like I was like, you gotta get out of there because he was crazy also. Like he would show up at her house. You know, he would do all types of weird stuff and whatever. And I'm just like, bro, like I don't want to see you end up like dead. So I'm like, you gotta get out of there. You know, it's not safe.
So it's good to have a good supportive, just support of your family or friends when you're going through shit like that too, man. Because we have a tendency to just be like, yo, this is what you should just leave. But a lot of times, man, it's a lot of psychology that goes into that type of shit. You gotta have good people in your corner that are there just holding you down, bro. Can be
Yeah.
real serious. How about you, Zach? Zach, are you gonna take out the gloves too? You gonna be boxing with him? What you gonna do? You gonna take your stance out?
If it's my crib, bro, I'm telling her get the fuck out, or I'm saying you better stop before I really get one of my homegirls to fuck you up, or I'll say stop. You're sleeping in the basement tonight. Depends on how I'm feeling.
That's how you feeling. All right, you heard it here first. Paul,
Uh,
you want to give your scenario next?
yeah. For this one, it was like, what would you do if you found your ex dating one of your parents? So
What the
yeah,
Holy
that
shit, yo, that is
how's it
wild,
go?
bro.
yeah. So honestly, for me, like, first of all, like like my mom and dad, like obviously they're grown ass adults. Like it's like, what are you doing? Like going after like my parents, like the people that like put me together. You know what I mean? Like so it's just like that's just weird. Like I this fine if you into like adults, but like my parents, like that's a no. Like if you're trying to be petty, that's stretching it. That's like that goes past like sleeping with like a best friend or something like that. Like you're dating my dad. Like what? Like that's creepy. And then like my dad's gonna have a serious talk with me. I'm probably gonna beat him up. I'm not gonna lie. It's just like it's that's not cool. Like you're stepping into like weird grounds and like you're obviously gonna break a relationship between
Yo, it's
you
gonna be a
know
stepmom, bro.
yo yeah like if things persist, say like my dad knocks her up, like bro that's like what? Imagine
that
being
that
that dude to go through that or that girl to go through that. It's like it's wild. It's no.
Yeah, that's OD extreme. Me, like my pop's an old head too, bro. So like if that were to happen, like low key, like I would be like, yo, you're doing the most. I'm not gonna lie, I'm thinking about it now. Like I would laugh a little bit at it because yo, my pops is an old head, bro. So like if that would make me, I would laugh a little bit about it. But
Nah, but if you had strong
I
feelings
feel
for
like
her,
if you had strong, like that's some real silly shit, bro. That's some real silly shit. Like that's some silly ass shit, bro. Like I don't know, man. Like even if a girl, you know, that you're messing with, like, would it like date like one of your family members or your friends, like in a few. That's like I feel like that's some silly ass shit to do, bro. Like I don't. I'm saying this now, but I don't know, man. That's something that I really I don't know what I would do. I would laugh a little bit at it, but then be like, "Yo, is this for real? Like what's going on?" And I don't know if my dad really feeling her like that, I'd be like, "Yo, you know, I give him the instructions that you want."
yeah.
Be like, "Yo, bro, you
Would you have
might
a
not
sit
want to
down?
do this." A sit down. Paul, I really don't know, bro. It's either I'm gonna be laughing and I'm just gonna leave. I'm just gonna leave laughing, or like I'm just gonna have an outburst. Like I don't know. It's gonna be between the two, bro.
Oh,
Like that
that
is
it's not gonna be funny when you walk in like from your from work and you see them on the couch cuddling, kissing. Like,
yeah, that's weird, bro.
yeah.
That's funny, man. We gotta keep doing this segment, bro. I did not think it was gonna go.
Nah, bro, gotta have
Zach,
fun.
what you doing, bro? You see your shorty with Mitch, bro. What you do?
To be honest,
I can see Zach stab.
it's gonna be funny to me because it's my fucking dad, and my dad is fat and old. So I'm gonna be like, damn, all right, it's a good thing me and her are not together anymore because she is fucking weird and not okay in the head. And then I'm gonna tell my dad, I'm gonna be like, yo, I hit it first, so keep that in mind.
Yo, but what happened if you were in love with this chick and you walk in and you see him giving her the strong strokes like
Have you seen have you seen my dad?
I've seen your dad, but I'm trying to paint the picture in your head
You think
like
she's okay in the head if a girl my age is with my dad?
I'm not gonna disrespect your father, but like it's bro, like
Oh
it's
man,
someone
Mitch
that you
blowing her back out, bro. What you gonna do?
yeah, say like you're in the middle of a relationship, you thinking about like marrying her or whatever, and then out of nowhere you like she's like, yo, Zach, I'm done with you. I'm dating your dad.
Like I said, I'm happy. I'm not with her no more. She is not okay in the head.
But would you speak to your dad? Like, would you speak to her? Like, or you would just walk away and
I'll
just be like,
walk
Yeah, yeah,
away,
and,
bro.
Zach's dad's mad annoying too, bro. Yeah, Zach's
I
dad
would
would talk his shit too.
he
I,
would. He'd be like, ooh, this sounds
I
good.
would not do anything. I would just tell my dad, yo, I hit first, and then just leave it at that. I would fully just not think about it anymore. I'll be like, yo, she's not okay in the head. Good thing I'm not with
Yo,
her.
but what if your pops is like, yo, you might have hit it first, but I'm teaching her new tricks, bro. What you gonna say? What you gonna say?
I'm in it forever.
I'm gonna just say, do you?
But
Just,
you're in love though. Like, say like you're in love. Like that was your that you
bro,
thought
I'm
that
not
was gonna be
in
the one.
love anymore, bro. After that,
Yo,
I'm not
Zach,
in love
this is what you're
anymore.
doing. You're gonna be crying. You're gonna drop to the floor. You're gonna be like, no, she was mine, and you're like, that's gonna be it, And then Mitch is gonna
bro,
get up, beat you up.
I am not doing that. If it's my
Oh, that is
father,
Yes, you are. You're gonna be mad heartbroken.
nah,
I'm
bro.
telling you. I'm telling you. No, I'm kidding.
I'm literally probably just gonna forget about it and just play 2K, bro. Like, I'm
2K solves problems.
yeah, you're not gonna be able to forget about it, bro, because he's gonna be, she gonna be everywhere, bro. She gonna be at the family dinners.
Yeah. She'll be like, I'm carrying Mitch's
Yo,
baby.
I don't know, bro. Maybe we
yo,
could share it. Maybe we could share her.
oh, that's strange, bro.
Yeah, that.
What's
See?
your
See?
scenario? Zach?
See?
That's strange,
Yo,
bro.
you said enough.
Got
Me,
my
you
Mitchells in Paris. Here we
got
go.
that.
Gorillas.
Yo, you're gonna have to get that king size bed set up like you were saying before.
Oh
Yeah,
my
For
god.
him, we gotta get that double king size.
I had to get a
bro,
bunk bed.
bro.
Oh man, that is some shit,
Alright,
bro. Paul, that is some funny shit, bro.
That
honestly,
took a turn. It went.
I am not comfortable with this anymore. Can we go to my
Bro,
question?
you said it, bro. You like
You,
to share
yeah,
her,
what?
bro.
You were
Like,
yo. This
damn,
man went
you
from
and Mitch,
man went
bro.
from oh I wouldn't care. I'm playing 2K. Like she crazy. I don't care. To I'd share her with my dad.
I know,
Damn,
bro.
bro,
That's why I'm trying to stop this before I think even more.
you.
Alright.
Oh man, I don't even know what to say about that one. That is, it was
So I want to stop. I said no.
Uh,
yo, this got to be the clip, bro. This got to be the clip that goes over on social. This gotta be the clip.
Yo, yeah.
All right, yo, what's your scenario, Zach? Oh, bro, this is crazy.
All right, my scenario. What would you do if, like, say your girl tells you to come over to cuddle up with her, lay in bed, like lay in her bed all day, watch TV. You walk in, and then you walk in on her having an orgy with like 20 people. What would you do?
Damn.
Straight like
These are some what would you
would you
do?
join or would you leave?
I mean, I don't think I'd be able to tolerate that, bro. Because if I see some like dude hitting my shorty with some what did you say? Some quick strokes or some shit like
Some
that. I don't
strong
know how I'm gonna
strokes.
take. I don't know how some long strokes, bro. Oh, Long Johnson. Yo, just hit. I don't think I'm gonna be able to withstand that, bro. And that's not a bed that I could ever lay in again, bro.
All right,
That's nasty.
would you fight, join, or leave?
I would just leave, bro. I would just be shocked. I'd be appalled, bro. I think I'd just leave.
No, I would definitely not leave. I would be like, I'd be like, come here right now. Like that whole thing is gonna shut down. What is it in? Like, wait, it's in your house?
Her crib. She invites you over.
Oh, over her crib, and she's just like, you just walk in, and you just see her having like sex.
You text her here. She's like, come in my room, and then her mom lets you into the house,
and she's just like, nah, that.
Nah, if there's if there's like mad mon in that fucking in that orgy, then if it's just shorties, bro.
If it's just girls, then like.
But if it's mad mon, just like, I don't know, man. It ain't for me, bro. Different cloth, bro.
I'm not gonna lie, bro.
I'm a dead ass cry.
I mean, I don't think I would cry. To be honest with you, I think I would just video it and just put it on Pornhub and get a bag from that, and then cry later.
Yeah, you're different, bro. You're a different ass dude, bro.
That's different. This man said, I'm gonna stand in the room while the person that I'm in love with is getting like hit from the back and record it and throw it in one. Yo.
You're different, bro.
He said, I'm hurting, but I'm about to get this check. like lift your legs up, baby.
I'm gonna get that check and cry after, like, check and then cry.
You're different,
if
bro.
You get that check. That's if you get that check. It's not that easy,
bro. Let's go straight to Pornhub.
I don't think they just pay off rip.
That's some cuck shit, bro. You sound like a cuck, bro.
I'm shooting that shit in 4K.
Yeah, it is some cuck. Yeah.
Yeah, you sound like a cuck, bro. Like, first you said the whole you and Mitch, tag team and that night. You sound like a cuck, bro. What's good with you, bro?
Bro, you want the bag or not?
No, bro. I don't want the bag.
No, I don't care.
At what cost, bro? At what cost,
I would make the caption walked in on my girl having an orgy, and then think about how much clicks that would get.
On the real though, that's not what you would be doing.
That's some nasty shit, bro. That's nasty, bro. That's disgusting. Especially in quarantine time, bro. All those people.
Your heart is
social gathering like that on your shoulder.
Your heart is already broken, bro. So at least make a bag from that.
Nah, bro.
I'd rather do it some other type of way. That me recording.
Nah, bro. I'm running out the crib, bro.
Yeah, that's
like, what did I just? I'd be like,
for
what
you
did
to
I
be able
see?
to stand there and just watch that and be like, I'm hurting, but like, there's no way for me to put my feelings aside to get the bag in that moment. I'm going to want to hurt everyone in that room. Like, that's.
Bro, I'm a probably cry, bro. But at least I'm gonna have the video on at the same time.
That's different.
You sound like a cuck, bro. He about to take his camera out. He's like, "Hi, I'm Freddie."
At first, I'll be like, "What the fuck is good with you? Are you kidding me?" And then take my phone out. I'll be like, "All right, bitch, I'm putting this on Pornhub. I'm getting a bag from this."
Yeah, that's still different, bro. I don't know, man. I'm Freddie. He took the I'm Freddie camera. Nah, you're different, bro. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just running out the crib, bro. I don't think I could. You're a funny ass bro. So like, where do we find this man at? Oh my god, yo, this
This
we
one,
went from toxic, bro. This shit has been jokes, bro. We gotta do this segment again, bro. This shit is funny, man.
yeah.
So
Oh, but I
that's
ain't gonna
great.
lie, bro. Yeah, I was crying. I don't know, man. I'd walk out, bro. That's not a sport I'm trying to play.
Yeah, that's my final answer on that. Mm-mm.
I mean, Zach would videotape it though, and then join in after.
There,
Wouldn't join, bro. I'd leave after crying.
Right after you watch the video a couple of
I mean,
times.
yeah, right.
Bro, it's yo, this I don't even want to
to
go
be
back to this,
honest
Joe,
with
but
you, to be
he's
honest,
the only dude that would watch his shorty get dogged out, bro. I'm talking about just getting slapped around like a ping pong ball, some real shit,
Yeah,
and
he's like,
videotape that and put it on the internet, bro. Like, what's
wait,
good?
wait, on a serious note, Zach, would you actually do that though?
yeah,
100%.
yeah,
Nah, you're a sick
Put
fuck,
that. You put
bro.
that on your mom's.
yeah. I would videotape and put it on Pornhub, whatever porn site there is.
Wow, the person that you're in love with, like your one and true like lover, like what?
Are you gonna leave heartbroken and sad as fuck? Or you leave
I'm
heartbroken
feeling much.
and
I'm
sad?
feeling much. I
I'm
would just be
not
like,
like that's
it is
some
what
type of weird strength to have to stand there and like I don't have the strength for that. Like I'm broken.
Because you're weak, bro. You're weak.
I guess I'm
No,
weak.
bro, I'm about to.
I guess I'm weak. There's no way in
Yeah,
hell I'm gonna stand there.
this sound like a Patreon episode, bro. I'm gonna turn my camera off, bro. Yo, you're bugging, bro. You're bugging, bro.
Yeah. Oh man,
Oh man, we gotta play some COD after this, man. This shit is jokes, bro. We gotta keep this shit going. Y'all niggas
Everyone
are
is
funny,
different.
bro.
bro.
Yeah, everyone is different, bro. Especially you, bro. You the most different. Yo, man, I think this is good as time, man, to wrap this shit up, man. This is this went from a serious to a real funny episode real quick, man. But that's how it be like sometimes, man. You gotta have the,
Yeah,
you
and
gotta be
you know,
able. Yeah, I'm still weak, man. You gotta be able to. I don't want to say laugh at the serious shit, but like I don't know.
you gotta have
What
fun.
would you do, man? It's a good segment, man. We got to bring this one back for sure. I'm pretty sure this is a fan favorite. We're definitely gonna try and post up a clip from this, and get a clip of the serious shit also and post both of those. But we would like to thank everyone that's been showing love, that's been just tapped in with us. This is the close of my podcast. This is Kev from the cast, Kev Love X. Some church bells with this one. Just dropped a new playlist. You can get that at Spotify, Apple Music, KEVLUVX. Go listen to that. I got a big catalog. I can listen to everything. It's not my music, it's playlist, but got a big catalog I can listen to. But thank you for showing love. Thank you for all the support to the podcast and just everything else. Just hope that everyone's getting by, everyone's remaining safe. And my concluding thoughts are I don't know what Zach has been using that camera for, but yeah, man, that's my concluding thoughts, bro. Just Zach's film skills again are different, bro, these days. But I'm gonna pass it off to Paul, man. I'm still kind of dead right now.
Nah, yeah, that's wild.
I'm gonna take my sip, man. I'm trying to play COD after this, though, man. This shit was jokes.
Nah, yeah, I'm down. Yeah, so it's Paul. You can follow me on IG, PAULIE 2137. I just want to say, thank you guys for checking in, tapping in, and keeping up to date with the videos. Just stay safe out there. Wear a mask, wear gloves if you guys got to go anywhere to get the stuff that you guys need to bring back home to your family. Definitely, continue doing social distancing, and just remain like 6 feet away from people. uh Definitely stock up on the stuff that you need, because we don't know how bad this is really going to get, and it can only we're still early in the year, but we're heading to the middle of it a little bit, so definitely just prepare yourself or whatever. And yeah, that's about it. Try to keep motivated, definitely keep working out, try to come up with a new skill, look up some recipes, try to become a chef once this whole thing is done. I'll become a personal trainer, just try to come up with a new skill, do something productive, and yeah, try to keep yourself motivated through these hard times.
Big facts, man. Zach, any concluding thoughts?
Yeah, everyone, don't even worry about mask or gloves. Just stay home. Don't leave your house. Just,
Yeah.
just
And just another,
live off spam or something. Don't leave your house. I haven't left. Haven't left my house in 3 weeks. I'm just chilling right now. Everyone, stay safe. There's people dying every day from this coronavirus.
yeah.
Don't be one of them. And if you are one of them, sorry.
Bro, you're bugging. Nah. Yeah.
Sorry to you and your loved ones.
Wildin'. Bro,
Uh,
he's wildin'. But
yeah.
yeah, next episode, we're gonna be bringing you the After Hours, the weekend album review, deluxe edition. So yeah, I could be tuned in for that. That's why we kind of wanted to touch on toxicity this week and go into that. And we should be having an album review for. I don't want to say because every time I say it, we don't end up doing that album review. So I'm gonna shut up. We have a few more album reviews, and we're gonna try and get out at least two vids a week. In the wake of this whole crisis that we're going through. We still need to provide y'all with some content. It's gonna be some new segments. It's gonna be explosions and lasers and shit. You already know we got it all over here, baby, and we got Zach on his weird ass video camera too. So. All right, man.